OFM as we near the end of the OFM Business Hour for this week. We're still looking back at the week that was on the show, and on Wednesday and Thursday, respectively, for our personal finance segment, we touched on the financial implications of divorce, especially if you're a small business owner. We heard from Kirsten Smit from Citadel. Here's a recap.
Are you seeing or observing an increase in divorces of late?
So, Lebacheng, we definitely are. So I think it's kind of like a dual factor behind that. I think the one was COVID. And so COVID, I think, gave rise to a lot of couples realizing, holy moly, we may be not as aligned as we initially thought. And then the other area we're seeing a lot of increase in divorces coming from is what we call like the grey divorce era. So that's where we're seeing clients in the 50 plus kind of space suddenly also realizing, hold on, we post kids, we've kind of like lost each other. We've both been so busy with careers and parenting, and now that's kind of like slowing down, and we're actually just not that compatible. So that's another big area of growth we're sadly seeing in the divorce space.
Quite a difficult time, I think, for many couples out there, especially when you consider the tough economic challenges, I think, in some respects might be playing a role.
And you've planned a retirement together. So I think that also becomes really tough when you suddenly like, hold on, all that planning is now actually counting for nothing. We now need to face retirement on our own. And that's a massive challenge and a massive thing to have to face.
You know, for couples that are in conversation about separating and then divorcing, what steps should they take to gain a comprehensive understanding of their family's financial situation and then ensuring a fair division of assets should they then divorce?
So I think first and foremost, you need to understand how you're married. So are you married in community of property, out of community of property? Have you got an A and C? And are you married with or without the accrual system? So that really is your starting point when it comes to division of assets following A, divorce, or B, death of either spouse. And then I think you need to realize as much as divorce is a hugely emotionally charged event, from a legal perspective, divorce is actually really just a financial transaction. It's a division of assets, and then obviously if there are minors involved, there's going to need to be a parenting plan and a maintenance aspect. So what I say to my clients who come to me and they're like, okay, listen, divorce is potentially on the table, I'm like, first and foremost, it really is about understanding what the assets are on the table. So what do you own? How do you own it? What do you owe? And then what that split looks like in terms of each partner. And then you need to have a solid handle on both your income streams, so what's coming in from an income perspective and what's going out. And I think that's the biggest reality check for most of us when you actually start suddenly plotting how much your life costs and what you're actually spending. And then realizing, oh, okay, hold on. If we're suddenly going into two households, that's a whole nother game change as well, because obviously those costs all increase exponentially.
Do some of those considerations and steps, Kirsten, change if one of the partners owns a business, particularly if it's a small business maybe?
I think it does, especially entrepreneurs and that kind of thing, where you're not in a corporate setting, where you don't have a stable income, where your income streams tend to be erratic. That adds a whole nother level of stress to the system. And it's also very difficult to put a value to some of those businesses, because there might be future kind of value linked to it or not. So that is absolutely an area of complexity.
Jy luister na die OFM Sake Uur met Lebacheng.